Avocado tree phenology refers to the seasonal timing of plant growth stages. A tree with a balanced crop has regular growth stages from one year to the next, whereas an irregular bearing tree has important differences that create a cycle that commonly extends over 2 or more years. Alternate bearing refers to a 2-year cycle of low crop one year to heavy crop the next. In New Zealand conditions, these on and off seasons can extend for 2 or more years before swinging back the other way. This is why we use the term irregular bearing rather than alternate bearing. Understanding these differences can help inform orchard management practices to prevent trees from becoming irregular in the first place. They also highlight where intervention can help improve the consistency of irregular bearing trees. In an off-flowering year, a tree will often have a heavy crop from the previous spring, low flowering, high vegetative flush, and high root flush. Without as many flowers and developing fruitlets draining resources, the tree puts more energy into growing new vegetative growth. This leads to a heavy spring vegetative flush and often a strong secondary vegetative flush in late summer or autumn. The large amount of spring vegetative growth leads to an increased amount of floral buds being initiated in autumn. Due to the smaller crop, tree reserves do not deplete as quickly, and the extra vegetative growth leads to greater resource accumulation through winter. Going into an on-flowering year, a tree will often have a small crop from the previous spring, heavy flowering, low vegetative flush, and low root flush. Flowering in spring is very heavy with minimal new vegetative growth. The heavy flowering and subsequent heavy fruit set drain tree resources. This leaves very little to push any new vegetative growth. The higher crop load combined with a lack of new vegetative growth to harvest sunlight leads to the tree's reserves being significantly depleted. Fruit drop will be significant through to March. Unfortunately, the tree's resources have already been depleted. The poor spring vegetative flush leads to a low level of flower buds being initiated in autumn. Late summer or autumn vegetative growth will be more dominant than the spring flush. This late flush often fails to harden off before winter due to heavy crop draining resources. A large crop may see fruit slow to size, often leading to a smaller size profile at harvest. Irregular bearing will persist until something disrupts it. There are 2 main targets for management practices to address the balance of a tree. The first is crop load. Removing excess flower or fruitlets before carbohydrate reserves are depleted will ensure spring flush develops well and there is sufficient resource accumulated during winter to support flowering the following spring. The second target is leaf function. Leaves replenish carbohydrate reserves and large healthy leaves will maximize carbohydrate accumulation. An effective fertilizer program combined with a healthy root system will ensure adequate levels of nutrients are delivered to all parts of the tree, including leaves. This is fundamental to building the resources needed to consistently produce a good crop. Well-managed soil moisture is important for maximum leaf function and maintaining root health. Not enough or too much water can cause leaves to shut down and may damage roots. Observing the different stages of your trees at different times of the year can inform you about whether they are likely to set a good amount of fruit year after year. If your trees aren't well balanced, you can consider pruning excess flower off going into an on year. You can also look at options to better support spring leaf development and overall leaf function.